Yep. Here, good. Oh, hey friends. I was just doing some measuring. So today I wanted to talk about how do you measure your success. So I have my tape measure because prop introductions are fun. So this question, how do you measure your success? We often take for granted what success is in our life. We are indoctrinated with messages all the time. From the moment we're born, we are getting messages from the people in our life, from the media, from marketing and advertising about what success is. And we absorb all of that at different stages in our life. So I'm going to invite you to be intentional with how you want to measure your success. It doesn't have to be what everyone else tells you success is supposed to be. If you believe our consumerist society, our capitalist Western society, then success is having a certain car, a certain degree. It's having a family of a certain size, being married by a certain age. It's having a house of a certain size, having a retirement account, accumulating wealth, advancing your career, lines on your resume, the awards you get. There's all these measurements of success that are sort of thrown at us. And we may suddenly find ourselves living our life trying to live by those measurements of success. And oh my goodness, that can be really exhausting. Why? Why am I living my life according to these artificial external measurements of success? They can be exhausting, costly. It can cost your sense of self, your sense of well-being. Because some of these measurements of success are not maybe feasible for you or reasonable for anybody to achieve. Maybe they are designed to keep us churning, to keep us trying to acquire more material goods or wealth, or strive and churn and constantly be not happy with where we are, not content with being the human being that we are. And so we might spend years of our life, decades of our life, churning and burning and striving and stressing about achieving these levels of success. So there's an opportunity here to change the measurements that we want to use for ourselves in our life. We don't have to just adopt and accept all the external measurements of success that have been given to us, or maybe even the measurements of success that we have internalized within ourselves. Maybe our parents instilled in us certain expectations about when they would view us as successful. We've inherited all of these beliefs about success and how we're going to measure it. And some of those measurements are not serving us. They are costing us happiness or contentment or ability to focus, or to be in integrity with what's actually important to us. So, my invitation for you is to think about how do you want to measure your success? What measurement system do you want to use to measure your success? And there's a few ways that I might invite you to think about that. The first is, let's just pause for a second. So this could be like a writing exercise, this could be a mindfulness exercise, a moment of reflection. I'm going to invite you to carve out some time and ask yourself the question, how do I want to measure my success in my life? And paired with that question is also the question of how am I currently measuring my success in my life? And is that working for me? Is it serving me? Do I want to make some adjustments to that? If for you, it doesn't seem realistic or feasible or desirable to chase the house in the suburbs, which I don't even know if anybody wants that anymore. But whatever it is, whatever size house in whatever location is supposed to be desirable for you. Is that how you're still measuring your success? Is getting certain awards, being married by a certain age, having kids by a certain age? The pandemic that we're all living through has obviously thrown a lot of our metrics and sort of the structures of the systems of our society, it's thrown a lot of that off. And so there's a powerful opportunity now, as well as any time in your life, to reflect on this question. How do I want to measure my success? And is the way I'm currently measuring my success serving me or not serving me? Do I feel lousy all the time because I'm not meeting some kind of I'm not meeting some kind of, measurement of success up here. And I'm down here, and I'm like, but this is, how am I supposed to get from here to here on my tape measure? How is that supposed to work, right? So there's a real, ow, I just snapped my finger in my artificial measurement of success. My tape measure bit me. Maybe that's one of the costs of using somebody else's measurement of success. So there's an opportunity here to pause and reflect for yourself. What metrics do you want to use to evaluate how well you're doing in your life? My theory is that maybe some of those metrics aren't serving you right now. If you ever beat yourself up because you're not living up to some kind of standard that you've seen in advertisements or your parents instilled in you when you were young, and you just wake up and your inner critic is just chiming away even before you're fully conscious. Oh, you should be a lawyer by now, or you should have, won this award by now, or you should. We call that shoulding all over ourselves. We don't have to live our life by those messages. We are often outcome focused in our life. I will be successful when I achieve this outcome. I will have made it when I will have done these certain things. I'll be happy once I've written my novel. I'll be content once I've achieved, $1 million in the bank or something like that. Well, guess what? It's actually not about those external things, because once you achieve that thing, the way you've been interacting with yourself, your relationship with yourself and success isn't going to change. It's not like all of a sudden you're going to publish your book or have that $1 million in the bank and, okay, well now I can stop beating myself up over not being successful anymore. It just doesn't work that way. Our system continues to play the code that we've been teaching it's supposed to play for us. So I'm going to invite you to flip your measurement of success on its head. Think not about the outcomes that you want, but how you want to be along the way. Who do you want to be today? Who do you want to be tomorrow? What values do you want to live by? What concepts are important to you in your life? How do you want to be of service to your community, to the people around you, to the world, to make the world just a little bit of a better place? What's your vision for your life? What brings you happiness and joy? If we start thinking in those terms, we can start changing the way we're viewing and measuring our success. Because when we think about our life in this new way, kind of flipping our measurements on their head, our day can then become, what values do I want to live by today? Who do I want to be today? How do I want to be of service today? What kind of person do I want to be today? If you set that as your measurement of success, as some of the questions you want to use to evaluate how well you did today, that puts much more of how you show up in your control. Those questions keep you in charge of things you have control over. They keep you in charge of how you show up and how you're measuring your success. Because with those questions, at the end of the day, you can reflect back on how you did that day. Oh, okay, how well did I honor the value of compassion today? How well did I honor the value of creativity today? How well did I honor the value of love today? On a scale of 1 to 10, I think I did like an 8. Or I did like a 6 because this thing got in the way. I got really upset about this thing, and maybe it got in my way, and I wasn't feeling very compassionate when I was angry at the customer service representative on the phone or something like that. But tomorrow, I'm going to show up again in a new way. We can start changing the questions that we're using, the scales. I'm going to go back to my tape measure. The scales that we're using on our tape measure, we can change. We can use a marker and put different metrics on how we're measuring our success. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well did you honor this value today? Did I get one step closer to my vision of my ideal life today? What actions did I take today to create the life I want for myself? How was I of service today? Did I do something that made the world a little bit of a better place? And if not, okay, what do I want to do tomorrow now to do that? We start living a life according to our values and according to how we want to be and who we want to be, instead of the outcomes we're trying to strive to achieve. That puts so much more in our control. It keeps us in charge of how we're measuring our success. Change the terms of your life. Change your metrics of success. I promise you it's worth it. That will enable you to be more in charge of how you feel about yourself every day. And it's cumulative. There's a reason for thinking about things in this way, because one way, if you're measuring your success by these artificial measurements, or the car and the house and the family and the career advancement or whatever, you're striving and churning and hustling to achieve some kind of external metric that maybe my friends will look at and go ooh ah, or maybe I'll get some Instagram likes or something like that about it, which is a whole other topic. Social media is a whole thing. You all know this. When we churn and churn and churn, it keeps us in a state of dissatisfaction, of incongruity between how we want to feel and how we're actually experiencing our life. When we shift our metrics, when we change our measurement towards how do I want to show up, who do I want to be, what do I have control over, it starts adding up, because all of a sudden you're looking at yesterday and saying, oh, yesterday I did one thing that made the world a better place. I made a donation, or I volunteered, or I reached out to a friend who was struggling. Today I want to double down on that. I'm going to do something else. There's so much more that's under your control, and the feeling that you get, there's a glow, there's a flow, there's an inner peace, there's an ease, there's a self-compassion and love that you start fostering when you start asking yourself these other questions. You suddenly start having access to feeling like you are successful right now. If you have a choice in how you view yourself, and we do, spoiler alert, you have a choice in how you view yourself and your success every day, why not view yourself as being successful every day? Why would you not do that? That doesn't mean you're not going to still strive and still, work towards improving yourself or advancing your career or whatever. But oh my gosh, wouldn't the journey be much more enjoyable if every day you reinforced for yourself how successful and capable and good you are? And that you don't need to wait for your novel to be published, or to get the house in the suburbs, or to have $1 million in the bank to feel good about yourself. Because probably by the time you get that, if you ever get that, you may not feel great about yourself anyway. When you get there. And then in the meantime, the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of your life, you're going to not be feeling good about yourself. So let's flip that. Why not start believing in yourself and owning yourself and loving yourself now, today? View yourself as successful right now. You've got a choice in the matter. You get to decide how you think about yourself and the messages you send yourself and the way you view your life. So why not start thinking of yourself as successful now? And then start working towards the things you want to create for yourself. Wouldn't that be a more fun way of achieving what you want than waiting until maybe someday you achieve that success to feel good about yourself? Spending the next decade beating yourself up because you haven't quite achieved the things you want is not a recipe for feeling good. It's not a recipe for feeling self-love and for enjoying your journey. So let's flip that. Let's say today I did 5 things that I was so successful on the 5 things that I did. I got up, I took a shower, I had breakfast, I had a nourishing meal. Oh, good job. I'm already on a roll. I'm already being successful as a human. I'm already being successful as a human being. Now what's the icing on the cake? What are the extra things that I want to do today? Because some days you may not feel like you can strive, you can churn. But then we look back at the day and we beat ourselves up over that day just because you didn't have energy to do the things that you artificially were imposing as measurements of success on that day. As opposed to acknowledging and owning for yourself, maybe today wasn't a day to churn or burn or go after the things. Maybe my body needed rest. Maybe I can give myself permission to change my measurements of success depending on what I need that day. That is a much more kind and loving way of living your life. And then you get to decide for yourself every day how you want to measure your success. Oh boy, I did such a good job taking naps today. I really cared for my body, which was really tired, and I needed some naps. I'm so lucky that I get to care for my body in such a positive way. I didn't have energy to make phone calls or hit the pavement and go after other things that I want for myself. Maybe today I was 100% successful at paying attention to what my body needed, and I cared for my body. I cared for my system. I was successful today. Isn't that interesting? If every day you get to give yourself permission to be where you are and love yourself where you are, maybe that's what this is all about in the end. It's not about even the measurements of success or the metrics. It's just being present with not superimposing or imposing on every day that you wake up some other measurement of how you're supposed to be that day. Maybe it's just being at peace with what you do need that day, what you're capable of that day, what your needs truly are. I'm coming back to mindfulness, right? If you've watched my mindfulness video, the 2 questions that I invite everyone to ask regularly are, what am I feeling right now? What am I experiencing right now? And what do I need? If you answer those questions honestly every day and take action to support yourself and meet your needs, boy, isn't that being successful? So I invite you to be intentional with how you want to measure your success. What measurements of success are serving you and what measurements of success do not serve you. You don't have to live your life by those metrics. You can create your own measurements of success every single day, and it's worth it. That enables you to be more at peace on your journey, to feel more self-love, when you get to set the terms of measurement, when you get to decide for yourself how you want to measure your success. Why would you continue to measure yourself by metrics that you're never going to be able to meet? That's a hard way of pushing yourself towards success or achievement or striving. I think there's another way of doing it where you can still get results and growth and achievement and rewards and whatever you're seeking, but you also love yourself more along the way. And I think that involves giving yourself permission to change the metrics that you're using so you're not just constantly beating yourself up. We can step into some self-compassion and some love and some positive reinforcement of being a human being on our journey. I leave you with that thought. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you feel inspired, please hit like on this video or drop a comment down below, or you can even subscribe to my channel. If you want to talk about this topic more, I invite you to shoot me an email, drop me a line. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about that. One of the powerful things that coaching enables you to do is take a look at the assumptions that you've been making about your life, the rules you've been living by, the measurements of success that you've just suddenly found yourself living by, and take a step back and rewrite some of those rules, change those metrics, be intentional with how you want to measure yourself, care for yourself, show up in your life, and create your reality for yourself. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. But how about from here to here? Yeah, that seems... Oh!